on the... Oh, almost fell off. How do I get on there? Oh! Oh, fuck! Did you throw that? Oh, my Jesus!
Good.
I'm about to get a bit teary. I'm gonna get a bit teary. It is now the day. Of course, we'll pay respects to the Queen as well, passing today, Owen, with big respects going around the world. But in other respects, we have to respect the 0-3 Bengals because they are terrible. And the Bills are playing the Rams today, and the Cincinnati Bengals are acting like they should be playing today. Am I not wrong?
Oh, you'd think they've won. You'd think they'd won the Super Bowl the way they're going on. Because apparently they're having an AFC banner championship raising thing and celebrating having their rings as well. So yeah, it's all.
Are they really? Are they really having an AFC championship banner?
Apparently, yeah, they're raising the banner before they play us. Apparently, that's what I've heard anyway.
Wow. All right, guys. G'day, guys. Welcome back to the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. I'm your host, my co-host, Owen, Mark and Owen Show. I thought it was a bit fun. I made that for my channel a few weeks ago. It's Red Dead. It happened when I was playing the game in real life, and I thought that's exactly how their season went. The Bengals went all the way through the Super Bowl, and the Rams came along, and the last minutes sack by Aaron Donald on Joe Burrow, game over. You're 0-3 Super Bowls, and I don't know about you, Owen, but I've been receiving quite a lot of heat in my comment section from Bengals fans saying, you're going to lose, you're terrible, the end of an era, it's all over. But in reality, and we'll get into this and we'll start talking about the matchup as well and the injury report and stuff like that. The reality is the Bengals have had one good year, I believe, in the last maybe 10 years. They were good in 2015. They haven't been to the playoffs in 31 years. They won 3 in a row and then they lost. So there's a lot of pressure on the Bengals, man. I'm kind of sick of it. You know what? This is actually worse than last year than the Bills. This is worse than last year.
Oh yeah, definitely it is. I mean, the way, like I said, the way they're going on, you think they ran our rivalry for years now, but I mean, it's 67 and 38 in favor of the Steelers. Before they went 3-0 in the last 3 games, we won the previous. I think it was 19. I think that was the first game we'd lost at Paul Brown Stadium in about 20 games against them. But the way they're going on at the moment, the amount of abuse I've had online as well, you'd think they'd owned us for time immemorial, and they were the ones who'd won 6 Super Bowls and we'd won none.
I've just never seen a franchise, maybe because I haven't paid too much close attention, the franchise celebrate the AFC championship success. You're a loser. You're a definition of a loser. You lost your last game. You're the only club in the NFL that lost their last game. Well, you're the most recent one in the NFL. You should be playing, the Bengals should be playing today versus another opponent on Thursday Night Football, but you're not. You're 0-3, and I don't care with the recent success. Yes, you have a good team. We're going to go through the matchup. We're not just going to go rant on how bad they are, but we're going to go through the matchup and give our honest opinion on what we think can happen in this game.
Yeah.
But I am so overwhelmed with it all. I think the players are too. The Bengals, the Steelers have nothing to lose. We've already lost this game, right? We've lost this game 110%. So do you have, if you haven't got it in front of you, I'll look it up, but do you have the injury report that's going on with the Steelers? I think there was two names added.
Yeah, so the injury report that I've seen was that obviously Deontay Johnson is battling back from that shoulder injury that he had. He sustained against the Lions in pre-season. He was a limited participant again today. Certainly the quote that he came out with, that he's doing everything in his power to try and get back fit. Chase Claypool was interviewed as well, and he said, as far as he's concerned, he thinks that Deontay will be good to go on Sunday. Marcus Allen was a limited participant, but hey, isn't he? He's a limited participant in games as well. Then you've got Chukes Okorafor apparently did not practice at all today. That's which is concerning.
You know what? Yeah. I saw someone on Facebook, and they said, "When did we pick up Chukes?" And then some other guy wrote, "He's been on the Steelers for years." I was like, "Is this guy serious?" Like he thought that Chuks Okorafor was a new player. I was like, "What is happening?" Even our Steeler fans don't know our players. I was like, "You're joking." But yeah, so what happened with him? Will he be playing? You think?
Well, I don't know what the nature of the injury is. All I've seen so far is a situation where it's just he has not practiced at all. Now, obviously, the big concern there is if he does not play, who plays at right tackle. I mean, obviously, right tackle's not as critical a position as left tackle because obviously they guard the quarterback's blind side. But you've got a choice of Trent Scott or Jesse Lump of Lard Davis. It's not the best, is it? Really?
Well, Jesse Davis is quite new. I don't know too much about him. I know you have your thoughts on him saying he's not a very good player, but you're right. The offensive line is still going to be scratchy in this game, and maybe that could be the difference maker with Trubisky there. But do you want to go, talk about some of the offense and maybe some key matchups or key players that you think, how do we tackle this Bengals defense? For me is probably the best starting point of trying to really break this down. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the line is the line, isn't it? I don't know. Whatever we do now, it ain't going to change. It's going to be what we saw in preseason. It's going to be a case of Mitch having to make plays off his own by using his feet, isn't it? So, what's the keys? Well, number one is establish the run. They've got to establish the run. They've got to get Najee Harris involved. They've got to get him established. If he doesn't establish the run, then the passing game isn't going to follow afterwards. Your deep passing game comes when you establish the run, because then you get the defenders have got to come up into the box and load the box because of the fact that that's what they've got to stop the run. Well, that then gives more space to the wide receivers to get downfield and get time for separation, and that's a key thing. So we've got the biggest thing is, first of all, establish the run, because the Canada system is solely dependent. Now, to do that, I think we're going to see a lot of 12 and 13 personnel used. So I think you'll see a lot of Gentry and Freiermuth both being used, because I know Freiermuth is very good at catching the ball, but he is also exceptionally good at blocking as well. I mean, witness that block that he threw on the Bills last year. We shoved that guy all the way off the field, didn't he? And Gentry is the best blocker.
I've got it here. I should be able to show it if I can. It's in my... Oh, but it's going to say that you're blocked.
What's that?
So I use this for my live stream. So okay. A lot of my guys from Still Next Australia know this one. This is the one you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So we should be good with that. I normally get away with that, just that little part. Sorry, it might be a bit loud. I got to change that, but that's a massive. Like, you are right. Freiermuth and Gentry, the two fellas are massive. Hopefully, they can be more of an extension of the O line to help. Like, I am worried about running the football. I'm not really worried too much about passing. If we can't run the football, then the game is going to be very hard to watch, right? If Najee can't get going and we get 10, 12, 13 carries, 25 yards or whatever it is, and you're just like, what are you meant to do? What are you meant to do then? So,
I mean, we're fortunate this year that we have two running threats. I mean, okay, I'm not suggesting that Warren's anywhere in the same league as Najee Harris, but having someone like Warren who can come in and will make a difference. The guy always goes forward, he falls forward. He's like a little wrecking ball on wheels, isn't he? So that's going to help as well. But that will help open the passing game as well, because the moment that run gets established, then it gives a chance for the likes of Chase Claypool, the likes of Deontay Johnson, the likes of George Pickens to get downfield and get that separation. And I think Pickens will make a huge difference this year, because he brings that physicality. He brings that speed and physicality that we certainly didn't have last year. I mean, don't get me wrong, Deontay Johnson is an absolutely fabulous wide receiver, and I love Deontay to bits, but George Pickens is that next level up from Johnson, because he's got the speed and separation ability of a Deontay Johnson, but he's got the strength of a Chase Claypool or a strength of a Charles Johnson. If those of you guys who remember Megatron, he is really, really strong and really, really quick. And he, I think, is capable, if he gets the targets this year, of having a Jamar Chase type year. Sorry to use that guy's name, but there you go.
So what do you reckon here of Maddie's thoughts? Best matchup for us is Pickens against Eli Apple on the outside. What do you reckon about that matchup if that happens?
Oh yeah, Pickens will eat Apple for forgive the pun. Pickens will eat Apple. Pickens will eat Apple for breakfast. I mean, Eli Apple's their weakest corner, and I think he is. he will. I don't think he'll cope with Pickens because he hasn't seen Pickens before. He doesn't know what to expect, and that's the big thing about Pickens this year is he brings that surprise element that Jamar Chase had for the Bengals last year. That nobody actually knows what he does or how he does it, because even in the preseason we haven't seen the full George Pickens. You know, if you look at this guy's tape from Georgia, he's a different animal to anything we've got. Anything. I mean, realistically, in my opinion, had he not had that ACL injury in his final year at Georgia, this guy wouldn't have even been around for the Steelers to pick. He would have gone top 10. He is that good.
What do you reckon about the stat lines for George Pickens in this game? Like I said, we haven't seen what he's done. We saw him in preseason. We know he's a good camp guy. I saw his interview the other day on Steelers.com or one of the sites. There's so many sites out there, but it was on YouTube somewhere. And he was being interviewed, and he said he's out there having fun. You know, actually, he also did say he thought the Bengals won the Super Bowl. So I don't know what that was about. He said, he said that the Bengals won the championship last year against the Rams, which the Rams won it anyways. But he said he's out there having fun. So are they going to throw Pickens right into the Wolves and just let him play the whole game and try and target him as much as they can?
They've got to. I don't think it's a case of like I think they've just got to do it because this guy is so different. He is just he's so super talented. So he's got to. For me, they've got to use him, and they've got to use him early and often because he is so super talented. Rookie doesn't matter. This guy is that good.
And also, we got another super chat here from Matt. Cheers, Matt, mate, for the $1. In Australia, that's about like $25, so that's fantastic. And for I think for British land, it's about 25 cents.
Yeah, our currency's about 75p, I think.
So, hey, Matty, mate, if you got a question, leave a question, then we'll bring it up. This is a question and Q&A show, and we really are trying to talk about matchups today because I was actually thinking about that question, which was, George Pickens, how he's going to go against the cornerbacks. I can never get his name right. If he does match up on Chidobe or Wuzier, I think he's a pretty good corner. Like I said, Eli Apple. You got the safeties in there, Von Bell, Bates, those guys. You, of course, have Mike Hilton, which I think would be fun to see, like Pickens just going up and absolutely bullying like Mike Hilton. Like Mighty Mouse is a good tackler. But there's something about Pickens, I think there is a mismatch in this offense versus defense because the sheer size of the dude and his arms are just so tall. Yeah. Just so tall, lanky, and he's a muscly dude. He's a fit guy. He's ready out there to play. He's a rookie. As long as he can get his mental preparation correct, I think he's got a good chance to be put in a situation where he can get 4 or 5 receptions and make a breakout TD. Like I think he's going to go that way.
100%. I mean, you look at the Bengals corners, and I'll be honest with you. I mean, okay, Chidobe Awuzie is probably about their best corner because Hilton. I mean, don't get me wrong, Hilton Eckstein or whatever, but his actual coverage skills are pretty poor. He can get burned quite easily, and
he got burnt in Pittsburgh a lot too. We loved him as a pass rusher, but he definitely got burnt a few times when he was seeking out in the coverage and zone coverage or whatever. He got lost, right? So I agree. I can't wait to see. If Deontay. Let's say Deontay isn't there. Who steps up? Is going to be Steven Sims stepping up for Deontay?
Yeah, I mean, or Gunnar Olszewski is the other one. I like Gunnar. I think Gunnar Olszewski is going to be an absolute secret weapon for us this year as a receiver. I mean, I think I've said this to you before, Mark. I actually see shades of Wes Welker and Julian Edelman about him in the way he actually plays the game. What did he call him? Edelman and Welker. Both started as just punt returner, kick returners, just like Olszewski. And in the early days of Edelman's career, for example, and Edelman, I know, was ex-Super Bowl MVP and probably is a very talented receiver. But in the start of Edelman's career, he was hardly used as a receiver, and I think Olszewski suffered from the same thing. And I know I'm putting 2 and 2 here and getting 5, but there's a chance that that Olszewski could be that type of player. He looked very good in preseason as a receiver. He seemed to be open a lot. Teams don't know what to expect from him again, even though he is a veteran with experience. He hasn't played many snaps on offense, so again, he could be a surprise factor for us this season.
Who do you see now? We know that the quarterback Mitchell Trubisky will be number 1, and I actually think he'll be quarterback number 1 for maybe half the season or depending how he goes. And if he plays well, I think he'll be quarterback for a majority of the season unless injuries happen or they want to rest him and bring in Pickett for a game or two. But who do you see Trubisky having his favorite target? You always need your favorite target. Big Ben had AB. Who does Trubisky link up with the most, do you think?
I think you're going to see a link up between here. I think Pat Freiermuth's going to be a big guy for him to go to. I know he's not a receiver, but I know he's not a wide receiver, he's a tight end. But if you look at when Trubisky was in Chicago, he turned to Trey Burton, I think their tight end's called. He turned to Trey Burton an awful lot. He was like his comfort blanket, his go-to guy. So I think Freiermuth will become a go-to guy for him. In terms of receivers, I think Pickens has got every potential has been his go-to guy because they seem to link up quite nicely in training camp and in preseason as well. So, but no, I think Pat Freiermuth is going to be his comfort blanket.
Do you think there's any struggles with the quarterback position being Mitchell Trubisky because he hadn't played last year? He's getting, he sat behind Josh Allen in Buffalo as a backup. I don't know. I don't think he played too many games or too many snaps. Is there any struggles where he's like your QB number one now, or is it just back to business?
I think there'll be rust there, and I think that's probably what we saw in preseason was, obviously a lot of Steeler fans back Trubisky 100%, and that's great. But there's the element that don't back him, and I think that is basically down to the fact that you did see a rust on him in preseason. The guy hasn't played as a starter since a full start since I think it was about 2018, 2019 in Chicago. So he is going to have rust there. He's not used to the day in, day out. I think he had eight attempts, completed 6 passes in Buffalo in the whole of last season. So again, he wasn't used very often.
All right. That's a positive.
So yeah, I mean, it'll take him time to resettle into being an NFL star again. But I think what the positive is obviously he will have learned a lot from working with Brian Daboll and Ken Dorsey, 2 very, very talented offensive minds in Buffalo. And he will have learned from sitting behind Josh Allen as well. I mean, Josh Allen, for me, I think has got the best potential to be the MVP of the league this year. And he will have learned from Josh Allen. So it's all good. It's all good. And I think he's determined to prove the doubters wrong. There's a lot of people out there writing him off already. There's a lot of people saying he was a bust because he was obviously taken 2nd overall in the draft by the Bears. They actually traded up to get him. He was taken before Mahomes and Watson. So there'll be determination there for him to prove people wrong.
What do you think the reason is for the Pittsburgh Steelers going with Trubisky? Is it because they trust him more than Pickett, or they don't want to ruin Pickett?
I think it's just they go as it was said at the end of last season, as was alluded to by a number of people, that Tomlin wanted to go with a veteran, and he's going with a veteran. And I think they want to go down the Kansas City route in terms of like Smith played, Mahomes sat. Mahomes learnt behind Smith for a year, and Smith was a game manager type quarterback, very unspectacular, but he got Kansas to the playoffs. Trubisky is very Smith-like, isn't he? So he's very game managery, very, he's not spectacular, which Smith isn't, but he's certainly capable of getting the Steelers to the playoffs this year. Because I mean, let's face it, he got the 2018 Bears all the way to the playoffs and then got them. They were a field goal away from going to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting too, because you know what? I'm just watching the NFL Game Day and someone jumping through a table because they're a Bills guy. But it's quite interesting that if Tomlin can pull this off, where they get Trubisky a winning season and Tomlin a winning season, and we go to the playoffs with Trubisky, then next year, I don't want to fast forward too fast, but next year in 2023, there's going to be a real quarterback competition, and it probably be likely that Kenny Pickett wins it. So that would then also, you give coaching props to Tomlin, because you've done what you need to do, a veteran-wise quarterback with Trubisky, had a good season, hopefully playoff run. We can get a playoff win or something like that. Would love a Super Bowl, but something to push into the playoffs. And then next year in 2023, you could have where Trubisky and Pickett and whoever number 3 is, back up and they're fighting out for 1 and 2. It could be the best of both worlds,
And Matt makes a good point in the live chat there. He says about not a bit about praising me, the other bit. He also says, Rodgers and Favre. That was another one. Aaron Rodgers, who's widely regarded as one of the best quarterbacks ever in the NFL, sat behind Brett Favre and learned behind Brett Favre. I mean, what better guy to learn from than Brett Favre? I mean, Brett Favre was a legend, wasn't he?
Oh, it was super fun to watch, man. It was crazy. And sticking with Matt too, we'll go to another question here. So we got the $1 question that says, "What do you think about Witherspoon, Sutton, and matching up on Jamar Chase? Is Jamar Chase going to be a problem for the Steelers here?"
I would match with. You've got to put Witherspoon on him. Witherspoon's the quickest. Witherspoon last year looked more like a shutdown corner than anyone. I mean, if you take that Kansas playoff game, I can't remember the stat now, but I remember listening to something and someone saying that they hardly targeted Witherspoon at all. Now, if Kansas City with Mahomes and Tyreek Hill are too worried about targeting Witherspoon, put Witherspoon on Chase. That's going to be the best plan. Witherspoon is the fastest, so he's the guy who's got to cover Jamar Chase, and he's probably the strongest, and he's shown a more physical element to his game this preseason that he didn't have last year.
And I guess with Jamar Chase, right, he was the offensive rookie of the year last year, and hopefully we have the same with George Pickens on our side. Is he the biggest threat, I guess, on the Bengals offense, or is there someone else? Is it Joe Burrow? Is it Mixon? Is it their tight end Hayden Hurst? Who is it? Who's gonna how do we lose if it's on their offense?
Joe Mixon. It's Joe Mixon. The guy,
I agree too.
He's a dual threat. He can catch passes out of the backfield and hurt you, or he can run over you. And last year, he ran right over the top of us. And I've been on 2 other previews this week, and I've said the same thing. And what I'm about to say might seem really, really weird to say, but we've got to turn the Bengals into a one-dimensional team, a passing team. And that may seem a bit strange to say when they've got Burrow, Higgins, Boyd, and Chase. But the moment you turn them into a passing-only team, you nullify Mixon's threat, which was something that killed us last year, and you therefore bring into play our strongest weapon, our pass rush. And that's the key thing. Get TJ Watt, get Cam Hayward, get Larry Ogunjobi, get Alex Highsmith, get Tyson Alualu in Burrow's face. And I don't care how good a quarterback he is or how good Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd are. But if you've constantly got those guys in your face, you don't have time to go through your reads. You don't have time to look for your targets. You're constantly running for your life, and you're not going to be as effective. I don't care if you're Joe Montana back there. You're still not going to be as effective.
So how are the Pittsburgh Steelers underdogs with that defensive line? Because I think that defensive line is actually one of the best we've seen in a long time, even with the rotational players, with Adams, with Wormley, with Leal in there, and the 3 fellas up front. Alualu's back. Hopefully he's healthy and ready to go. How are the Pittsburgh Steelers underdogs with Cameron Hayward and that defensive line? Not the outside linebackers, just the defensive line being better this year in 2022. We have all our players back, and you think that Ogunjobi doesn't want to go out there and smack the Bengals?
Of course he does. He wants to show them they were wrong to let him go. Even Zach Taylor, the Bengals head coach, and Joe Burrow this week have both said that the Steelers have one of the best front sevens in the NFL. So obviously they're concerned about that front seven. But what makes us underdogs? 2 things make us underdogs. Number 1 is the fact we no longer have Ben Roethlisberger. We have that uncertainty around the quarterback position. No one knows exactly how Mitchell Trubisky and or Kenny Pickett are going to work out this season. And number 2, the offensive line stinks to high heaven. And again, that is a big fear. I think that people and a lot of experts are saying that if the line can't protect the quarterback, they can't open running lanes for Najee Harris. It doesn't matter how good your defense is. If you can't put points on the board, you haven't got a chance. And they're the 2 things I think that make us underdogs going into a lot of games this season is the line and obviously the fact we haven't got Ben anymore.
If we have TJ Watt and Cameron Hayward go score touchdowns for us, it'd be okay.
Yeah, that's the plan, I think. That's going to have to be the plan.
No, I just find it funny. That I think our defensive line got better. I think our defense got better overall. And I like the fact that we have Leal on the team who's played quite well in the preseason, and he's like the backup. And
exactly,
put him in sparingly. I like what Montravius Adams did last year, but now having Alualu in front of him doesn't need to be the starter. I think Ogunjobi will be out there ready to punish. I saw some preseason stuff he did, and he looked fantastic, right? Just the way he's just body control and body position on the line. Like, I think Cameron Hayward, maybe he might have, assembled his guys, kind of like he might have been talked to his coach, saying, "Hey, coach, I need some guys." Because I know last year, you could look at Cameron Hayward's face. He knew that his line stunk. Like, he knew they were terrible, and he was trying to put on a brave face. But this year, I think it might be a little bit different with, veteran guys up front, like the old Steeler way. young linebackers around so he can come down, run into the box. Is there a chance, you think Malik Reed plays, we have Highsmith in there, but does Malik Reed play any snaps or any contribution to the defense?
Yeah, Malik Reed will contribute. I mean, he's going to, because let's face it, TJ needs his rest. He goes a million miles an hour from the first snap, and he needs to be spelled. Alex Highsmith is only just coming back off that hip injury, so he will, or rib injury, whatever it was again. He will need to be spelled as well. So yeah, Malik Reed will play, and I think Jameer Jones will also get some snaps as well. So there will be spelling of TJ and Alex. It's got to be. But, going back to the thing about the underdogs as well, I think the problem as well is if you take the modern NFL is such an offensive focused league.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at coaches who've won Super Bowls over the last, few years. You're talking Sean McVay, you're talking Andy Reid, Bruce Arians, all very offensive minded coaches. So because
Zach Taylor. Oh, wait, that's right. They lost.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, you look at sort of the last few winners. I mean, other than obviously Belichick, who is a defensive genius, but you look at the last few winners. Arians was an ex-offensive coordinator. Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy are just offensive geniuses. Sean McVay is an offensive coordinator, and it's a very much an offensive-dominated league. So I think that's another reason why Steelers are considered underdogs, because obviously we concentrate more on our defense rather than our offense. So, but it is a very offensive-dominated NFL these days.
We've got breaking news here from the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate first. If you guys want to direct your attention to the bottom of the screen, hit that sub if you dislike the 0-3 Bengals. That will be there for the continuation of the whole show. We appreciate your support. And if you like our content, myself having a bit of a joke around, Owen, look, we're not too serious, man. We're not NFL. Look, we're not claiming to be NFL guys. We're just two blokes, one in Australia, one in the UK, wherever Owen lives, somewhere in some castle, wherever you live, Owen. And we just really dislike the Bengals. And I think we have a chance, right? I think we have a chance.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to bring up in this notion of the show? Anything that you think plays we need to look out for? Anything like that? You think at this moment where Steelers fans need to know about this guy or that guy or this person?
I like what Matt put in the live chat. I'm excited. I really do hope that Tomlin throws him out there at some point. That on special teams and on defense. Mark Robinson, this guy is a human hitting stick, isn't he? He arrives everywhere on the scene, and his sole intent is must do violent things to the person with the ball. So he's almost. I mean, this is going to sound really horrible, but he's almost Bobby Boucher like, isn't he?
Oh man, the water boy was so fun to watch.
But he is. He's a bit water boy, isn't he? I don't know whether you've actually heard him talk, but he does actually sound a bit water boy-esque in terms of his desire just to hit people and hurt people.
No, it's funny sometimes when you hear someone's voice and doesn't match their body. Oh, there's another Pittsburgh Steeler that does that. I can't remember who it is. I don't know who it is, but if you guys have any questions, let us know in the chat. We'll start to field some questions. But I still want to talk more about the Bengals because, look, it's a big game. It's a massive game. It's 1 p.m. They're cutting the ribbon for Paycor Stadium. Did you know that the Bengals, and I love this stuff, the Bengals, we've beaten the Bengals 15 times in their stadium?
I know. I knew it was something really big. I was listening to SNR during the week, and I think it was 15. Wolf was saying, that basically the Steelers own the Bengals in their own stadium.
Since 2000, when that stadium was built, Paul Brown Stadium, I think it was built in 2000, right? The Steelers have won 15 times, including playoffs, including the Vontaze Burfict hit on AB, right? And the Bengals have won 6 times. And when they were cutting that ribbon, I was like, that should be our ribbon.
Yeah. Tell you what they should be doing, right? They should be getting Ben Roethlisberger to cut him.
Yeah, let's like you know what? Even if we do lose, it's gonna be a little bit salty on me for sure. But we've had this success for so long. As long as I've been a Steelers fan for 20 odd years, and you even longer than me. Since I've been a Steelers fan since 2004, we've probably won every game except the last 3, right? And I get it. They've played harder, they've played better, and Big Ben got older and slower and that kind of stuff. And the O-line's been terrible. But we have a record. The Steelers have a record 15-6. That means something. And now you're pretty much putting the Steelers in the corner. You're putting the dog in the corner. What happens when you put the dog in the corner, Owen?
It comes out fighting, man. It comes out loud and snarling, doesn't it?
Exactly. It's got nowhere else to go. You put a dog in the corner and it's done a bad thing. You say, you've done this, you've done that, blah, blah. and it goes and bites you. This is what they're doing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They love to be the underdog. For some reason, we don't like to be the team that can go and beat the Jets when the Jets are like 1 and whatever. We're a team that is counted out, and when that happens, we rise up and we play good football. If these guys play physical, if the Steelers go out there and play physical football against the Bengals, and I hope the Bengals play physical as well, because if they match their intensity, this game is going to be fire. TJ Watt, Cameron Hayward, these guys, Minka, these are all pro players. They're not just pushovers, right? Trubisky went to the playoffs. Najee Harris got bigger and better. Freiermuth on the offensive side is ready for a breakout year. This fella wants to go out there and play football. The offensive line just needs to hold up enough time for 4 or 5 seconds to find Trubisky to find a receiver and get open and then break a play. As easy as that sounds, for me saying it, sure. But I just don't understand how a lot of fans and the NFL media are saying this is absolutely, the game is done and dusted. The Bengals are going to win 38-10, 38-15. It's like they haven't even been watching the offseason, right?
Yeah.
Have they not been watching the whole offseason? Like, we have seen an immense turnaround, all these players. This is the first game we get to see Miles Jack play, like a full game. What do you think Miles Jack does in this game?
Oh, I think Miles Jack will go off again. He'll really support that run defense. He's just an awesome player. I've been so impressed with him. The way he's played all preseason, the way he's been in training camp. He does look like just an archetypal Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker, doesn't he? So definitely love him. Can't wait to see him.
And 412 says here, we are the underdogs with last year when he likes the Bengals, and look, they're a good team. I get that. But they beat Buffalo last year in week 1. It's the exact same scenario. The exact same scenario. All offseason, counts it out, can't do anything. I think even the NFL analysts aren't even saying we're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
there's a few guys out there. I think Rich Eisen and Kyle Brandt are saying we can. But other than that, everyone's saying we're going to lose, and it's going to be Ravens and Bengals, and even Browns are better than us. Even Cynthia Freelood's automatic machine got the Steelers at 7.8 and the Browns at 8.2.
Yeah. Mark, I was just thinking, question for you. Do you think that the Bengals could have a Super Bowl hangover, like the Falcons did after they lost to the Patriots, and they were very talented with Matty Ryan, Julio Jones, and Mohamed Sanu, Tevin Coleman, I think I call. Obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs, I know they did well in the end last season, but they started last season very poorly after losing. So is there a chance the Bengals could have a Super Bowl hangover, Mark?
Oh, very much so. The same as the Panthers too. The Panthers and the Falcons have not been the same ever since they went to the Super Bowl, ever. In the last 5-6 years or so. With the Bengals to have a hangover, it's because they're celebrating their success. Like, I have not seen a team write a book about coming second, and that's what they're doing. They're legit celebrating the success, and you can tell by the fans as well. I did make a Bengals video with our mate, Save the Steelers, called "Are the Bengals Overrated?" And I tagged the Bengals in it, and the Bengals fans came in saying, "We're not overrated. You're living in your past. This and this." They're living off one season. And you were sure it'd be different if you won the game, but you didn't win the game. You lost because you are losers. That's your losing mentality. Now you have Joe Burrow, and he's probably one of the best quarterbacks I've had in a very long time. You have good receivers, no doubt. Okay, you have a fast defense, but there's no reason I don't think the Steelers can't keep up. I think the biggest thing for me in this game is turnovers. If the Pittsburgh Steelers turn the ball over once, then we are in shaky water. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we need to hold the ball more than actually get turnovers. Because if we turn the football over on them, then the Steelers got to put points up. And we need 7s and not 3s. But playing at home, the fans are going to be crazy. But wouldn't it be great to see the Steelers go down there and win and then get the drive? Well, here's a question for you. Do the Steelers receive the football or go on defense if they win the coin toss?
To be honest with you, I'd receive it and receive it and put it straight down their throats. That's the way for me. That's what I would do. And yeah, I 100% agree with what you said about turnovers. Don't turn the ball over. Do you know how many times we turned the ball over against them last year in 2 games?
By the sound of your question, 0, 1,
5.
We turned over, or they turned over?
We turned the ball over to them.
Oh my!
5 times in the 2 games last year.
Oh, that's right. Big Ben was throwing up ducks everywhere.
Pick 6, yeah. But yeah, 5 times we turned the ball over with fumbles and pick interceptions. So that's something that we've got to eradicate massively. Obviously, Minka
Okay.
had that interception, didn't he, against Joe Burrow?
Yeah, but that was near the end of the third quarter. I think the game
Yeah.
was already over. Maddie says here, what's your status, your favorite player, Derek Watt? What's going on with Derek Watt?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything about Derek Watt, so he's probably, he's probably polishing his brother's cleats, making his brother's oatmeal, and stealing a living, isn't he? Stealing a living, getting his $340,000 a tackle.
You know what I should be doing?
What?
Owen, do you mind talking about something for some quick thing? Just talk about anything you want.
Okay. Yeah, so I think, like I said, the key, obviously, don't turn that ball over, protect the ball. And also, like, if we establish the run, we can eat up the clock. And that's the key thing as well. Keep the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands. Keep the ball out of the Bengals offense hands. Go on, Mark. What are you doing, man?
Look at my name.
Mark what?
I'm on the team. Let's go.
What's your middle name?
I don't think I haven't got a middle name.
You haven't got a middle name?
I haven't got one in real life either.
Well, let's just give you a middle name starting with M, so you can be MJ Watt, like JJ Watt, TJ Watt, MJ Watt.
Oh, I could be just MJ and then just like a J, like Homer J Simpson. Look, yeah. Look. That was probably the worst segue in history. Talk about something, but I just wanted to I'm serious. Why can't I'm on the team, right? Am I not on the team?
You are,
Surely. Yeah. I think I'm. What number am I? I don't know, 41. Where's that? Spillane? No, it's Spillane's number. Anyways, yeah. Man. If any more questions out there, and we'll start to wrap it up, and we'll start to do some predictions.
I've changed my name, by the way, Mark.
It is. Man, oh man. We need some football. Mark Watt and Owen Rudolph. The two best players on the team. Okay. Anything else you want to cover? Like we've covered, is it do we talk about punting? Do we have to talk about special teams? What's going on there?
Do you know who I think is going to play a massive part in this game? Huge part in this game. In a positive way.
Boswell?
Spot on, mate. The Wizard of Boz.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be the difference. I really do think he is going to be the difference.
Knock on wood, though. Knock on wood. I think my camera's going to go off. Oh. Yeah. No. I always knock on wood.
Don't give him the yips. Don't give him the yips.
No, I think you're right. I think he's signed the contract. He's a standout player, standout kicker.
Yeah.
I think as well, if we talk about field position, right? Does this game come down to a field goal, down to field position, down to punting, where, both sides on defense, hopefully, if they're a good offense, we can stop them, I think, on defense. However, we're possibly a bad offense with our O-line, so it might be easier for them. Is it come down to field position?
Oh, yeah. Getting the ball in range for Chris Boswell to put it over the posts. That's going to be a key thing, I think, in this game. Kevin Herzog Herzog in the live chat asks a question. Do you think any of the recently acquired players will make any kind of splash this week? I'm taking it he means free agents, maybe, rather than
Malik Reed. Who else would be in there? Probably
Levi Wallace.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, looking at those, obviously you can rule out the likes of Daniels, Davis, because they're linemen. So how much splash can a lineman make? But yeah, Wallace could potentially be a call, but I think Malik Reed is probably the one you look at to come on and get a sack or come on and continue the harassment of Joe Burrow. So yeah, Malik Reed's probably your biggest one there for splash. But I suppose I've changed my mind. Miles Jack. He's going to be the biggest splash maker with his tackling and his dominance on defense. I think he is going to be the every down linebacker. He'll have the green dot. I think, Kevin Hurts. I will look out for Miles Jack.
Last question on my end, and then we'll give our predictions and maybe a bit of fire, a bit of heat. Who are the tone setters on the Steelers to win this game? Who says it's my ball? I want to score. Who says I want to take it away and score?
You look at the defense, it's got to be the defense of the Steelers. I think TJ, Cam, and Minka on defense, they're the big three. I think George Pickens could on offense as well. I think he could have a really big play on offense, and then he could give it the whole to Paycor Stadium. He does like doing that.
Do you think that fuels him, that fire of like everyone thinking he's not good enough or he's rookie, he can't play? Let's just say that, right? Do Do you think that fire of that energy at the stadium will fuel him to be the best? Because I kind of sense that with him.
Oh
I
yeah.
think he's always been looked, just his body posture when he was getting, drafted, that everyone overlooked him or whatever, right? And he was the one that the Steelers then got, because the Steelers didn't really overlook him in the first pick because it was going to be, Pickett or someone like that. But everyone else said, oh, all the other receivers. Do you think he used that fuel and fire? Like, was it like 5 receivers went in front of him or something?
Yeah, and he was definitely. I mean, he wasn't talked. I mean, if you look at the draft when the draft was being discussed before the NFL draft, it was all Chris Olave, Drake London, Traylon Burks, Jameson Williams, Garrett Wilson. They were the names that were being talked about, and even Sky Moore was being talked of as higher than him, and Christian Watson, the guy who went to the Packers, again, another one being talked of more than George Pickens. So yeah, it does. And the other thing is, I mean, he seems to take not catching the ball so personally as well. He has this desire to get the ball, and if he doesn't get it, he really gets a down on himself, and then the next play comes out and seeks to prove, and yeah, he has got a fire. I mean, okay, I know it's not the best example, but he got in that fight with the Georgia Tech guy, in the Georgia Bulldogs Georgia Tech game against Bama. He was constantly in Bama's face. Because obviously that rivalry between Georgia and Bama. So yeah, he's got that, and I think he understands rivalries, and he's got fire in him. He's a what's it they call him? As a dog.
A dog. Yeah, I even looked on my my Facebook on it was we have like an NFL Australia page, and by the way, the NFL Australia page is one of the worst pages in history. I swear some of those guys think there are 35 teams in the NFL. They don't know anything. They actually have no idea. But there was a question being asked. Someone wrote a comment or a post said, who's going to be, the offensive rookie of the year? And no one commented George Pickens. Everyone said all those other players. So I think, in my opinion, I think if George Pickens is playing this game, I think he's is he ready kind of style? Yeah, maybe not. Maybe he's not ready. But I think his passion, his physicality will get him over the edge. I think with the way how he just absolutely bodies cornerbacks, I think will be a mismatch too. And maybe we might see a more run-heavy package as well, like using Pickens out there, using Freiermuth and Gentry. And, if the O-line can't go backwards well enough, then it's easier to go forward, right? Stick your feet in the dirt and push forward and see what happens. Because I think because Najee's the same guy, right? Najee Harris and Pickens not the same fella, the same kind of mentality, would you not say?
Oh yeah, Najee's just a little bit quieter about it than George Pickens. That's the thing. I think that Najee's goes about everything very quietly and doesn't have perhaps that dog-like spirit about him. That he's not as open and as aggressive as Pickens is. Pickens is just openly aggressive, isn't he?
Yeah, but Najee's still the same time. I think of the way that he runs, and his mentality to be a Pittsburgh Steelers is just fantastic to watch. So we do have another question here. From where is it? Where'd it go? Gene Smith says, I see Edmonds having a big play. Do you see that? He's had quite a good offseason as well, Edmonds. Do you see him playing very well?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think he'll be key, obviously, with matching up with Hayden Hurst. I think there's talk of obviously of them using 3 safety sets, even though obviously they haven't got Kazee. Trey Norwood can come into that, and then moving Edmonds up into the box as like a sort of supplementary linebacker, because he's got the physicality and he's got the size to do it. And he is exceptionally good at covering the running back and covering the tight end. So yeah, I can see him having a big play on Hurst, or even him being kind of like a man marker for Mixon.
And we've also got another comment here too from Amelia James. It's hello, Britsburgh and Mark. Well, actually, my name now is Mark Watt. I've made the team. It's that easy. If you put yourself as TJ Watt, Derek Watt, JJ Watt, you instantaneously make the team. Matt says here, I think Pickett's going to have rookie year like Randy Moss. Do you think he wins rookie of the year?
He seems to be the favourite to be offensive rookie of the year amongst a lot of people now. Now more people are becoming aware of who George Pickens actually is. Do you know what? If he's half as good as Randy Moss, I'd settle for that.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? You know what's funny as well, because I'm a bit of a betting man, right? And you said to put, to choose him as rookie of the year. And at the time, in my language, he was $51 to win rookie of the year, before, after the draft, and now he's $11. So he's dropped in my Australian language $40 ever since he's played on the field. So there's a big chance I think he can be. I think it'll be fantastic to see a Pittsburgh Steelers be rookie of the year. Any more other questions, guys, in the live chat, and then we'll start to get to our prediction. But Owen, what are you most excited about this weekend? Because we will be doing our pre-game, but it's good to hear your thoughts like on this podcast.
The guy getting proper Steelers football. Excited to see TJ go after Joe Burrow and slam Joe Burrow in the mud just to shut him up, because I am fed up of Joe. Was it Shiesty? Everyone could see Joe Burrow. The guy is such a wannabe gangster, isn't he? And I just anything to smash that smug grin off his Macaulay Culkin face.
Man, that was the most English I've ever heard you sound.
Really?
Right near the end, yeah. I used to have another video too. I wrote Joe Burrow a letter. But I've got that much Bengal stuff. If the Steelers win, I have that much stuff ready to go. I've got comments from fans. I've got all this other stuff. So, yeah. For me, I'm pretty excited just about the Steelers getting back at it. I'm excited to wake up at 3 a.m. And you'll be up at like 6 p.m. for you. But I'm excited for the game and the defense and to see Najee run again. I'm excited for Jaylen Warren to get running back 2 snaps to see how that's going to pan out. I'm excited for this Matt Canada offense with Trubisky playing. It's a real football game. It's not preseason anymore, so it doesn't matter what we did in the preseason. It's a real football game. If we struggle in quarter 1, we still got 3 quarters to come back. At any time, if there's a fumble, there's a strip sack, there's a interception, the game can change. Kickoff return for a touchdown. Everything can change. This whole game is over 4 quarters, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to go into our predictions?
Yeah, let's go for predictions, Mark. Let's get them in the live. If you're in the live chat, write your predictions. Do you know what? I noticed that it's usually me that gets called a hater, Mark. It's refreshing that it's someone else.
Nah, he's saying like keep a haters journal. So I'm like, I have all these Bengal fans from other comments saying your team sucks, and I have taken I think about 4 or 5 screenshots of these comments. But if we lose, then they win, right? It's and you got to put yourself out there. You got to put yourself out there. So okay, who do you have winning this game and what score?
I'm going to stick to my prediction that I've given all week. 27-24 Steelers. Chris Boswell walk-off winning field goal.
That's very, very similar to mine. I believe mine all week as well is 23-21, I think. So that would mean the Steelers are down 21-20. We come back to win at the very end. I think it's going to be a Chris Boswell field goals too, because the stats kind of show that they're the AFC champs from last year. They lost Super Bowl. They're a good team. Steelers are going into their house, which should be our house because we won 16 games there. But in reality, if we have a chance to win, it's going to come down to a field goal, I think. I don't think the Steelers win by 10. I don't think they win by maybe 7 or a touchdown. But I think it's going to come down to a field goal in the last 40 seconds, which is going to be tough. Now, what would be lovely to see is if the Steelers can go out there and just lay the smack down and do a few suplexes, Stone Cold Stunner, People's Elbow, the Undertaker's, what did he have? He had the last ride. I think he had choke slam, stuff like that, Tombstone Pile Driver. They can go out there and lay that down. Then this will be the most enjoyable game in history.
So what we got in the live chat. You're right, definitely right, Mark.
All right. So
you're probably not. Although you're not allowed to do that these days, are you? You can't touch a quarterback.
No, you can't do anything. We have Gene Smith saying Steelers by 3. We have Claude saying 24-20. Vermilia James saying 19-10. I could see that. I could see a field goal game. I could see like it being, low scoring as well. She thinks 4 Boswell field goals for sure. If we can't get our offense all the way there, get Boswell to the 40 and just pray to the Wizard of Boz. And I think we might be fine. Reginald Rivers says 23-16. Keep down the penalties and the turnovers. Exactly. That's key. Penalties, turnovers, time of possession, all key for a good football game. If they all go the opposite way, we're in trouble. And Matt says here, 24-13 Steelers. Oh, no, he's stuck in Ohio and he'll have to come to Australia. Oh, okay.
Matt, you don't want to go to Australia. There's so many animals that will kill you.
Yeah, man. You're better off probably going to the UK, I think. Yeah. All right, Owen, you want to send us out and say goodbyes, and then I'll play the old music. But before we do, hit that sub if you dislike the 0-3 Bengals.
I love that, Mark. Yeah, guys, it's been another great live with the Steel Syndicate podcast. Mark and I appreciate all the new subs we've had, and guys, we really appreciate all you do in the live chat. The interaction, we absolutely love it, and all you guys in the live chat make it really, really worthwhile. And thank you so much for coming on, questions, comments, and also thank you to everyone who has offered condolences to the people of the UK over the loss of our Queen today. Thank you. That's really fantastic. So yeah, looking forward to the weekend. Can't wait for it, Mark. Can you?
Oh, I'm so excited. All right, guys. Thank you for checking out Steel Syndicate podcast, and we'll see you later. We'll see you after the game. I might be there. I could be there, but Owen, I think you'll be there for definite, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be there.
All right. We'll see you guys later. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.